The scene opens with 11 guests dining at an opulent banquet with an entire waiting staff and servers at their service. The musicians entertain the guests while they enjoy platters of raw meat served to them. The guests start eating, and with each serving, the guests eat at an even faster rate. The food somehow never seems to stop as the servers keep replacing the empty plates with full ones. Soon, the entire floor starts creaking, and the servers look at each other, slowly backing off, when suddenly, the floor collapses and the pampered guests, along with the table, fall to the floor beneath them. That explains the white dust on their clothes. The maître d' moves closer to the speaker and says, "Next floor," and the waiting staff and the musicians quickly carry the food and the instruments to the floor beneath, and even the chandelier is lowered. Amazingly, the guests have not fallen out of their chairs and the food is still on the table, albeit covered in white dust. But that doesn't stop them from devouring the dust-covered food. However, the valets quickly step in and use soft brushes to dust off the guests' clothes. The feast resumes and everybody gives in to their desires as more exotic animals like peacocks, armadillos, reindeers, and rhinoceros are served. There is only one woman among all the guests who looks uncomfortable, and as she signals the server that she doesn't want the sausage on her plate, the obedient server adds several more and leaves. The guests keep eating, and the floor again buckles under their weight. The maître d' again yells, "Next floor," and the staff again carries the food and instruments to the floor beneath. But this time, as they start cleaning the floor suddenly collapses, making the waiting staff gasp. As they quickly gather everything and move to the floor below, the maître d' is the last one to leave. Since he must follow protocol, he says "next floor" on the speaker, even if he's already alone in the hall. This time, when they reach the floor, the staff waits for a little while at a safe distance. The maître d' suspects the floor is giving way and rushes his staff to the floor beneath. They quickly set up, prepare to serve, and stare at the ceiling for it to fall any minute. Meanwhile, the guests' faces are now painted white because of all the dust accumulated on them, and one of the guests takes a bite of the food from his plate, and the rest follow, some laughing, some serious. The guest is in a wheelchair, unable to have anything himself. Even so, this doesn't stop him from slurping on his food tube that is being filled on every floor. The guests give in to their desires and start eating from each other's plates. Seeing the guests eat like there is no tomorrow, the woman guest gives in to her gluttonous indulgence and starts stuffing her mouth uncontrollably as a tear trickles down her cheek at her helplessness to control herself. As the staff waits on the floor below, the ceiling cracks and the banquet of culinary carnage falls several floors beneath them. The staff looks at them, sinking floor after floor, with the chandelier desperately trying to keep up. The maître d' smiles upon seeing the downfall of those who became slaves to their desires. The guests scream and tug at each other, and by the time the dining table reaches the last floor, nobody is left alive, and nothing is left on the table. The chandelier crashes on it soon after, as the staff looks on in horror. They share glances at the consequences their guests faced because of their greed, and at last, the maître d' looks at the camera, questioning us if extreme indulgence in a temptation that would cost us more than what can be redeemed is worth it. And that's a wrap for the short recap. Thanks for watching.